This week's muscle car of the week is a Hugger Orange hot rod designed to be kind of practical, but specifically to beat the insurance companies. Most Chevrolet enthusiasts are familiar with the Yenko Chevrolet name. Don Yenko had a dealership in which he sold high-performance versions of Chevrolet cars, starting all the way back in '65 with the Yenko Stinger Corvair. And those evolved into the Yenko Camaros, which were very, very popular, Yenko Chevelles, and one of my favorites is the Yenko Deuce Nova. And this was a 1970 Nova that had an LT1 350 under the hood. Basically, Yenko took the Nova, which was a lightweight, low-budget stripper version of an economy car in 1970, and took the hottest Corvette small block you could get, which was the LT1, and stuffed it under the hood. The LT1 was also available in the Camaro, although it was rated a little bit less in power than the Corvette version. The Yenko Deuce LT1 is actually rated at the same spec as the Camaro version, but the whole purpose of the Yenko Deuce Nova was to get ahead of the incoming pressure from insurance companies who were making insurance rates higher and higher on big block muscle cars. So Yenko thought, well, you know, if we market this thing as an economy car with decent fuel economy, but have it still make a lot of power, we'll be able to sell them and be under the radar of the insurance companies. There's a bunch of Yenko cars in the brothers collection, but this Yenko Deuce Nova is one of my favorites. Not only is it a pristine example of one of these cars, but it's pretty darn rare. I mean, they made 175 Yenko Deuce Novas. They only made 10 in Hugger Orange, and this is definitely one of the nicest ones. Power for the Yenko Deuce came in the form of a 360 horsepower, 350 cubic inch Corvette LT1 V8. This was a high-performance cammed motor. It's got a solid lifter camshaft. But when you start this thing up, it's got a serious rumble. And that's because the compression ratio is about 11 to 1, 11.1 to 1. And the camshaft is known as the 178 cam, which is the last three numbers of the Chevrolet long part number. And this cam is also known as the 2430 cam, 24/30. Chevy fans for years have known of the Duntoff 3030 cam, kind of a legendary Chevrolet grind that you could buy at your dealer and put in your Chevy motor. The 2430 cam is a little bit different, and a lot of people don't know what that 3030 means or what the 2430 means. And on a solid lifter camshaft, you have to adjust the valve lash, and the 3030 cam meant the valve lash setting was 30 thousandths on the intake and the exhaust, 3030. The 2430 means 24 thousandths on the intake, 30 thousandths on the exhaust. But at the end of the day, what you got was a very lumpy cam in this LT1 350. Other speed parts on this car include a 780 CFM Holley 4-barrel. I mean, that's normally reserved for big block usage, but you found it on this LT1 small block. Corvette-style ram's horn exhaust manifolds and electronic ignition. It's a real screamer, but the funny thing is they still tried to market this as being an economy car, again, to beat the insurance companies and to make people kind of justify some practicality. So they said that this was a gas-sipping motor, but not when you got your foot in it. The Yenko Deuce also had some suspension upgrades, the F41 package, heavy-duty shocks, sway bars. You could get these with either a Muncie M21 4-speed or a Turbo 400 automatic, and the rear axle is a GM 12-bolt with 430 gears. So this car was designed to be a drag racer from the word go. The appearance was all business, man. It's the Hugger Orange is a very bright and in-your-face color, but it's got a Yenko stripe, which was white, started at the front of the car, went down the side, up and over the quarter panel, and down the rear deck lid. The wheels are stamped steel with no trim ring. Inside the Yenko Deuce, it's about as basic as you can get. It's got a bench seat, floor shifter, a rubber mat on the floor, doesn't even have carpet. And it's all designed to go fast. And again, Yenko said, this is practical. They kind of bragged about the rear seat being large and having a lot of trunk room, but we all know that the less you put in them, the lighter they were and the faster they went. The only ornamentation is the Yenko Deuce sticker on the door panel, and of course it's got the hood tack, so there's no other gauges on the dash, so you can focus on going straight down the track. They were terrors on the drag strip, and if you see one today, you might want to spend some time looking at it because you don't see them every day. The real ones, because a lot of people have made tributes or clones, the real cars have the VIN stamped on the block that matches the car because this was a central office production order GM installed engine. So that's one way to tell if you're looking at a real Yenko Deuce versus a clone. But we had a lot of fun playing with this car. There's a lot to learn about these cars, and you can find out all kinds of information at a great website called Yenko.net. And they cover not just the Deuce, but of course the Camaros and the Chevelles, and even the Corvairs and all the Yenko family cars. And if you want to learn more about this particular car, we've got photos and some extra info on our website at musclecaroftheweek.com. Of course, we've got our Facebook page. If you like stuff like this, share it with your friends. We think a lot of people want to see this kind of car. And also, we have a YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll never miss an episode of Muscle Car of the Week.